Hey there, so today I'm going to show you how to rearrange blocks that are inside of the Gutenberg columns block. Actually, this isn't really unique to the Gutenberg columns block either. This would also work for the other columns blocks that come with the extra plugins that come for Gutenberg. So in this particular case, the client wants to move this content here, this cover block, up into this position here. Or even for that case, they just want to move them around and they're just unsure how to move the columns or the content inside the columns. Now, the first thing that will probably trip people up is that this here is the cover block and it sits inside the column itself. So the easiest way to think about it is when you're creating these blocks, you have the columns, and that has column 1, column 2, column 3. And then you have the column itself, and inside of that is whatever block you put inside the column. So you need to make sure that you're actually selecting the content inside the column. You're not selecting the column itself, because you can't move that around, but you're actually selecting the cover block inside. That's the first thing you want to do. Then you'll get this little drag option here. Now, just to show you an example, let's say we want to drag into that area there. The thing that probably confuses a lot of people is to know where to drag it. So I pick it up and I see all these blue lines. The blue line shows where it's going to go. Now I don't want to hit it there because that will drag it into before the columns start. I'll show you what happens if I do that. You see there, it's dropped it before the columns. What I really want to do is aim inside this little box. So I'll move it again and see the little box gets illuminated. Drop it in there. Perfect. Now that's rearranged. Now what happens if we wanted to, for example, move this one all the way up to here, or even switch these around? Well, we'd pick it up and then we scroll up. Okay, so we don't want to drop it here or here. We really want to drop it maybe there. Yep, that would work quite well. And that will actually put it at the start of the column. We've also got these little arrow handles here where we can move it around like that. So we can make it the first or second item in the column. Now, let's say that we wanted to then move Angie and Tom. We can then just drag that and move it wherever we want. So maybe to there. The main thing is to not drag it to here because that actually puts it before our column block. So if we put it to here, see how that line there is illuminated? That means it'll drop it inside of that column. And yeah, that's all we really need to do if we want to shuffle them around. It's just playing around with it and making sure that you're selecting the actual block itself and moving that. And when you move it, you're moving it inside of the column and not before the column. And I'll also show you something as well that might also help. If you wanted to fill these up, you could go like this and go duplicate, and that will actually create another cover block, and we then can drag that into there. Alright. So that should about cover some of the nuances of dragging the blocks that are inside of the columns in the new WordPress editor. I think that this process might be refined a little bit in the future, and it has certainly gotten a lot better, but I just wanted to help give some guidance on some of the trickier little parts to managing this process. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next episode.